2, Introduction to JSON. So today we start this new topic. After we learned XML, so last time, part A, this is a closely related topic, JSON. So, and we will compare, these two different ways to pretty much doing the same thing. All right, first, basics of JSON. The first question, what is the JSON? First, from its name, we can see something. So what it is from this JavaScript object notation. The whole name is JavaScript object notation. First, we know JavaScript object, right? So JavaScript has its object format. But this JSON, its format very close to JavaScript object format, but slightly different. So for that reason, a new name is used. So JSON format. JavaScript object notation. All right. So later we will compare the differences between these two formats. All right. So first, it was created early 2000s. At that time. So now you know a few years after XML was created, 1998. Pretty close, right? Just a number of years, small number of years difference. But after it was created, for the first few years, it was not very popular. It was not very popular. For the early years, XML was much more popular than JSON. But that trend changed in recent years. Recent about 10 years. In recent, approximately 10 years, then, the industry preference quickly moved to JSON format in favor of JSON format, much more than XML format. The reason is very simple. Easy to use. Much easier to use JSON than XML. All right, so we will get there after we complete this topic. So then we can do some preparation. All right. First, from its purpose, you can see storing and exchanging data. Is it similar to the purpose of XML? In XML, we also talk about this goal, storing and exchanging data. So that's why these two are competitors, head-to-head competitors. Right. JSON is text written with JavaScript object notation. Another reason. So now you can see another important reason why it becomes so popular. Because in recent years, JavaScript is extremely popular. Its role becomes more and more important. So then, because JSON object data format, it works with JavaScript seamlessly. So for that reason, it becomes more and more important. All right. Next, let's look at the details. good thing is it is very easy to learn. Yeah. So we do not need to spend a lot of time. Yeah. Relatively short amount of time, so we can quickly use this JSON format. Yeah. All right. The first, exchanging data. How do we use JSON to exchange data? Yeah. All right. So here we talk about exchanging data between browser and a server. So when we do data exchange, typically we send text data, string format, both ways. Okay. All right. But even you use string, you want to use some special format. The string, so you can use, arbitrary string, right? Yeah. Although you can use arbitrary string to send the data, but sometimes our data has some special structure. Our data is organized in a special way. So when we send that string to the server or receive string from server, we want to preserve that kind of special structure. Because if we preserve that structure, we can retrieve data easily. Just use the typical object way to retrieve. Through properties, methods, we can retrieve the data easily. Yeah. So for that reason, we need some simple, the format should be simple, not very complicated, but it can still preserve the original structure of the data. Yeah. So that's the technology we need to use. All right. Yeah. So then the conversion. Yeah. Then, yeah. After you receive or before you send it, so you need to do some conversion. Yeah. Because the format you use for programming may not be good for the format you send the data. Yeah. The format you send the data must be in a string format, but the format you use for programming must be object format. Okay, so here, there is a format, data format conversion issue, okay? Between client and server, okay? All right. Programming side, we need an object format. The object format could be JavaScript object. Okay, yeah. Typically, JavaScript object. Yeah. Because other object, too complicated. Yeah. So here, let's just, using the most straightforward case. Yeah. All right. So the string format. Yeah. Transmission string format is the best. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Preserving the structure. Two-side conversion. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. But this JSON format, after it becomes more and more popular, JSON format, after it becomes more and popular, then many other programming languages, support this format. Yeah. Yeah. So you need to support that format. So for that reason, so all other programming languages, you need to do your own object JSON format conversion. Okay? Yeah, because for other programming language, Java, PHP, all others, yeah, you want to convert your data in your own object format, right? Your own object format. So you need to provide your own tools to do the conversion. Yeah. All right, so we will get there later, because at this point we haven't moved to server-side programming. Our next module, module 5. So we will move to server-side programming using PHP. Yeah. So when we get there, you will use some special function to do the conversion. Okay. All right. Yeah. Next topic. Yeah. Sending data. So we want to understand the details. Exchanging data, consider two cases, two ways, right? Sending data and receiving data. Okay, yeah, so we will see, yeah, one after another, yeah. All right. If you have data stored in a JavaScript object, now before we send data, here we assume we are at the browser side, so we are working inside a JavaScript function. So our data is in the JavaScript object format. Yeah. JavaScript object JSON format, still there is some difference. So you need to do the conversion. Yeah. So we do the conversion in a very simple way. Yeah. So look at this example. First, we have this is a JavaScript object format. JavaScript object format. Yeah. Later we will compare JSON format, JavaScript format. 90% similar, but still small portion different. Yeah. After that, now before we send, we need a string representation of that object. String representation. Yeah. So you don't need to worry about the details. Yeah. So you just call JSON.stringify method. Stringify method of the JSON object. Then you pass the object to it, JavaScript object, a valid JavaScript object to it. So then you get a string. So this is a string, but it preserves the original data format, the structure. Yeah. Then you send it to the server side, data processing program. Yeah. Some PHP file. Yeah. Here you use the window.location to send. Yeah, window, yeah, the global object dot location. Yeah. So you want to send a request to that URL, that specific URL. Yeah. So you do in this way. Yeah. You create a parameter name called X. Then this JSON string representation of your data is used as the value of the parameter. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Next, receiving data. So when we receive the data, yeah, we also need to do that conversion. Yeah. Because when we receive the data from the server, so we also get a string, but that string contains the format, JSON format, organized the JSON format way. But when we need to use the data in our program, our JavaScript function, we need to convert it to a valid JavaScript object. Yeah. So let's look at a simple example to do that. All right. So now we receive a string containing JSON format data. Yeah. Here you can see what is the JSON format data. So this is JSON format data. Okay, pretty close to the format we saw in the previous slide, the JavaScript object format, right? Yeah, but here the only difference you can notice here is, all right, so in this whole string, look at the property name for each part, you use double quotes. Yeah. So it's a string value, double quotes around the property name. Yeah. But this part, yeah, in our previous slide, when we use the JavaScript object, we do not use that. We do not use that double quotes around the property name. Okay, yeah. So later we will compare. So later you will see, the comparison, yeah, the similarity and the difference. Yeah, we will see that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So then you just pass that string to JSON.parse method. Parse. Okay. Yeah. So you get a valid JavaScript object format. Okay. So after you get that, then you can access data stored inside this object through the property name. So here, the property name. Okay. Yeah. All right. Next topic. Yeah. So at this point, so sending data, receiving data, that's pretty much most amount of the work we need to do. Yeah. Here we look at from the JavaScript functions. Yeah. But we miss that server-side programs. Yeah. In our next module, after we familiar the basic features of PHP, then we will, quickly we can get that PHP way JSON data format conversion. Yeah. Next, another topic, storing data. Yeah. So storing data. Where do you store it? Not in database. Yeah. Where do you store it? Yeah. Here we're talking about we store the data temporarily in the web browser buffer. Web browser has a buffer, right? Yeah. Yeah. Because some of the data, we may use it repeatedly. Okay. So we want to store somewhere temporarily. Okay. Yeah. How to do it? Yeah. So here, this feature was available in the current HTML version, HTML5. The older versions do not support this feature. Yeah. So this HTML5 version, yeah, it supports this feature, so we can use it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And when we store the data, although you have many different ways to store, yeah, but if you want to store the structured data, preserving the original structure of the data, yeah, JSON format is the best. Yeah. So most people like to use JSON format. Although it's not necessary, you can store in other format if you like, right? Yeah. But JSON is the most popular format people like to use. Yeah. All right. Storing data in local storage. So local storage, so we mean HTML browser buffer. Okay? Yeah. So in the browser buffer. Yeah. For temporary storage. Not permanent storage, temporary storage. Okay. All right. Let's look at some simple example doing this. Yeah. All right. For storing data, yeah, we need to, because you need to use it later, so we need to show you two parts, storing data and retrieving data. Yeah. All right. First, we have the JavaScript object format data. Yeah. So you can see no double quotes around property names, right? Yeah, comparing with JSON format. Yeah, you can see that main difference. Yeah. Other than that, so then, because if you want to store the data, you want to store it as a string. Yeah, not an object. Yeah. So the object, because it's not very convenient to store the original object. Yeah. So you convert it. You use the JSON.stringify method, convert it to a string variable. Yeah. So then you use this way, local storage dot set item method. You need to provide a name to it. So unique name for your data. Okay? Yeah. Double quotes the string value as its name. Then the string variable for its value. Yeah. Name value. Okay? So now you store it. Yeah. But under what situation do we use this feature? Yeah. It is very straightforward. Yeah. Because think about, yeah. So you develop a web application. Yeah. In a web application, you have many web pages, not just one, several web pages. Okay? But you have some data you may need to use for multiple pages, not just one. Yeah. Every one page you don't need to store, right? Yeah. For one page, yeah, because what you are doing here, you can access this object directly in the same page, right? Yeah. But for a different page, you cannot, right? You create this object in one page. When you go to a different page, can you get this one? You cannot. Okay? Yeah. Because these object variables are associated with the current page. So when you move to a different page, all these temporary variables disappear. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. But in some special situations, so some data you want to reuse in different pages, this is a nice way to do it. So you store in your browser buffer in this way. All right. Then when you go to different pages, yeah, when you in different pages, so you want to retrieve the data you store there. Yeah, so you just do this. Yeah. Text variable, string variable. Yeah. So you retrieve local storage dot get item, the name of the data piece you stored in some other page. Yeah. So then after that, remember, you need to do the conversion. Yeah. Conversion the same way we do the conversion, just like we receive the data from the server. So JSON.parse conversion. So you get a JavaScript object. Okay. So then you just use it. Okay. After that, you can use it in a normal way. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So after that, so that's pretty much, yeah. So here you can see after this short discussion, it covers pretty much our commonly used ways we need. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much enough. Yeah. We just need to get some practice experience. Yeah. So we will be able to use this new technology. Yeah. Next, we try to summarize a little bit. So JSON is a lightweight data exchange format. So here it emphasizes the lightweight. Yeah. So when you see this, you may get the impression it is easy to use. Yeah. Simple, easy to use. Yeah. So you do not feel some heavy burden to use this technology. Yeah. So that's why people like to emphasize lightweight. So actually you can see, so if you pay attention to various web technologies, so a lot of things claim they are lightweight something. lightweight something. So people like to use this lightweight. People don't like to use the heavyweight. Okay, heavyweight. Heavyweight means hard to use. Okay, yeah, hard to use. Yeah. So that's why people don't like this name. Yeah, heavyweight name. Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. But there is no, very clear definition on this lightweight. Yeah, just based on people's impression. Yeah, roughly. Yeah, like that. Yeah. JSON is self-describing and easy to understand. Yeah. Remember, when we talk about XML, we also say self-describing. Yeah. Yeah. Here, self-describing, yeah. So look at the property names, values, so you can understand, you can guess, the purpose. So how to use the data in each property. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And the JSON is language independent. Yeah. Here you can see for XML, we also have this property, yeah. Language independent. So you can see a lot of similarities, yeah, between XML, JSON. Yeah. Language independent, it is not bound to any specific language or software application. Yeah. So it can work with different languages, different software tools, applications, So it is a common data exchange format. All right. Next, we want to compare JSON and XML a little bit. Yeah. So first, for the purpose, very similar. Yeah. But the format slightly, we cannot say slightly. Yeah. The difference is pretty significant. Yeah. First, we use some special example to compare. Yeah. First, let's look at the JSON format. For the same data, but we represent in two different ways. Employee data. Here we have a JSON object. Okay, yeah. So this way, curly braces, yeah, represent JSON object. Then we have a property name, double quotes, employees, colon. Right? But after that, you see a pair of brackets, square brackets, because we want to use it as an array. Employees, there are many employees, so we want to organize our employee data in an array. Okay, yeah. So here in JSON, we can do that. Okay. The property value is an array. Yeah. All right. Now let's look at the XML example for the same data. So this time we use XML tags. Yeah. So employee. Yeah. But when you look at how do we store data for multiple employees, element by element. Yeah. Each element, yeah, so we store different properties. Yeah. So here you can see in the XML way, although we have multiple elements, but they are not organized in the array format. So not organized in the array format directly. Yeah. I mean, just a sequence of elements. A sequence of elements. Yeah. So that's some special difference. Yeah. All right. First, both ways self-describing. Yeah. So that's no problem. Just how do we describe the data? The way to describe data, they are different. Yeah. Both the structure-wise hierarchical, yeah, so, kind of tree structure. So you can, name value pair, right? So each property you have name, you have value, but the value could be another object structure. The object structure can contain multiple properties, each property name value, so you can do the nested representation of data. So both ways you can represent your data in a nested structure, hierarchical, different levels, the tree. Yeah. So if you visualize the data pieces inside the representation, so you can get a tree type structure. Yeah. Yeah. So then supporting technology. Yeah. So both technologies can be supported by, different programming languages, software tools, applications. Yeah. All right. But how easy to support, that's different. That's different. That actually makes the big difference regarding their popularities. So right now, Json is a clear winner in this competition. It's a clear winner. 90% of the time, people like to use the Json format. Only approximately 10% of the time. Yeah. Because sometimes for some special applications, people may like to use the XML format. But for the general, ordinary, general applications, then Json is the first choice. Yeah. All right. So then the difference, there is some difference between Json and XML. First, Json does not use end tag. Okay? Use the structure of name value pair, name colon value, comma, right? Comma to separate different properties. Yeah. So that's enough. Okay? So not using the tag away, opening and closing, start, end tags. Not use that way. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Json is shorter. Yeah. Data representation is shorter in general. Yeah. Json is quicker to read and write. Quicker, yeah, because people can do the statistics. Yeah. Processing data. Yeah. So, you can find, I saw that kind of statistics. So when you work on some specific format, it takes certain amount of time to do the conversion. Yeah. So from that point of view, Json is quicker than XML processing. Yeah. All right. And another property, Json can use arrays. Yeah. It supports the array structure. Yeah. But XML does not support array structure directly. Yeah. But it does not mean the supporting software tools, applications, when they do the conversion, so they can use array to represent the data, right? Yeah. So that burden will be carried in the specific applications. Yeah. All right, so that's our first video about Json. So in the next video, we will learn some more properties about Json technology. Yeah.